Let's do this. Let me get this screen up here.
Oh, you are not full screen or nothing. It's 8:00 in the morning. We're doing the Wayfarer's Guide. Yeah, it's my partner and host, Dragon Skillin. I'm his partner and host, Mr. Solutions. And we're doing a Wayfarer's Guide. We picked a new time that was going to better suit everybody's schedule, and we're tired and beragged.
I mean, I'm there every day, brother. That's just my general state. But it does suit my schedule a little better. It does suit your schedule a little better. We get this knocked out first thing in the morning. You get to go do everything else you do to go make money like a money man boss, and I get to do everything I need to do like a housewife. So it works out.
Yeah, I also do housewife stuff during the day, so there's also that.
Hey,
you are not alone. I do housework with you.
That's right.
I clean up the kitchen. Then I cook the food.
Yeah, I got the kitchen and the laundry today as my tasks.
Oh, I just did my laundries. I did my laundries.
Right behind this thing right here is a stack of laundry to here.
You know what? I've seen your behind there. It always looks like there's a stack of laundry up to there, and that's probably after you did the laundry.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I put it when it's clean. It goes in the closet in the basket when it's dirty, but it goes right behind here on my toy box when it's.
Yeah, you need to hang that shit or fold it or something.
Yeah, I'll get to it when I got 5 loads of my clothes to do every week and 3 or 4 loads of the other kids' clothes to do every week. I got a lot of loads.
Your kids ain't washing their own clothes yet, bro? Why not?
Well, Dennis not. Gabe and Eva wash their own clothes, but like they still, they're not in my room. But my clothes, her clothes, and Dennis' clothes are all in our laundry. There's like 5 loads of our stuff every week.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
She wears 2 sets of clothes a day. She goes to work, gets dustinator and pizza stuff, and then comes home and puts on clothes to get out of work clothes, and then puts on clothes to go to bed in. So it's like 3 outfits a day. It's a lot of laundry.
Yeah, I wear like 3 outfits a day. I wear the hey, I woke up outfit. Then I wear
Speaking of cool outfits you wore today, I bet you can get that Soul Monkey Publication shirt right here below in our panels.
You can though. You can get this dope ass Soul Monkey Publication shirt right in the panels. I didn't wear a Wayfarer's Guide shirt today. I just didn't feel like grabbing it out the closet. This one was closest to me, and I was like, it's merch. It's merch.
All merch. It's all merch.
It's merch. But look, we've been gone for like 2 weeks, so we apologize.
Yeah, for real. I had both of those are on me. I had life stuff come up. It's one of the reasons that I pushed for the time change, because the kids went back to school, and the 2 to 4 slot for me, which was the noon to 2 slot for you, worked well for you, but not so much for me when the kids show up at the bus stop at 2:30 and get out of school at 3 o'clock. So it's like that first hour is like my kids coming home and stuff going on. So to make that easier at my house, I was like, we should probably push the time to a different space. And since my 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.s are the real available time for me now, it worked out really well for me. So.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I'm my own boss and I make my own schedule, so anytime works for me. But 8 a.m. on Mondays really kind of pans out better, so that I can go make money moves on a Monday, as opposed to sitting around all morning waiting till noon, so I could do a show until 2, and then finally get to money moves on a Monday, which was really not the business. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's okay, but we got on a different scope right now. We got a whole nother thing going on, and we will be just fine.
Yeah, we'll be just fine. I will also not stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning doing work for the company next
But
Sunday. That was not my work to begin with. So, um,
these 6 a.m. mornings for me are pushing me to the no later than 1, 2 o'clock for sure.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, I was not supposed to be doing what I was doing last night. I was supposed to have been in bed by like midnight, 1 o'clock, slippity slip, got all the restings for you guys, and now I have these
And this
crazy bloodshot eyes.
and this is part of being your own boss and running a company that a lot of people don't get, don't understand, don't fathom. There's a lot of stuff that goes in behind the scenes. There's a lot of time you put in that you're not getting paid for. There's a lot of effort that goes in that you're not getting paid for. It's extra, but it's
Yep,
yours.
but it's
And that
yours.
makes all the difference.
It does though. Like seriously, not working hard for someone else's money is the best feeling in the world. Like working hard, no matter what you do, if you're working hard, right? Like I work super
I
extra
mean, you should
hard.
be.
Yeah, now that I own my own business, like I tell people all the time I run a 20-hour a day, 7-day week business. You know what I'm saying? The 5 hours that I'm asleep, I'm not working, but sometimes those 5 hours get interrupted with work too. So I
Show enough
had to
you.
get some deliverables to a client, and if I didn't, they was going to be in a situation, and I wasn't responsible for the deliverables, but I became responsible for them and took care of the motherfuckers and got them out and done last night. But your boy is tired and slightly delirious.
Well, this should be a fun day then. It'll be good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Should be a fun show. It should be a fun business day. I gotta go deal with a lot of people and things.
And people and things and dealing with them is how you know you're making it.
Yeah, yeah. If I didn't have people and things to deal with, then I would say I was failing as a consultant and an agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that I got a headache.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a really bad headache this morning.
I
I don't
need
even
to
know what we're
open.
going to talk about today, dude.
We are supposed to
Well, no,
talk about some virtual verses.
I know that's what we're going to do.
Go
The
over
second
some more
half.
of
The
those.
second half is covered. I'm just talking about the first half where we yammer.
Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff to talk about.
I know.
One of the things that I am interested in currently is the Twitter algorithm and how to use the Twitter space to increase your influence.
All right, talk about it. Educate us.
Well, one of the things that I'm about to pick up is social media management for the Spondi Entertainment Group. I think that you also interested in me picking up social media management on Twitter for Soul Monkey Publications.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm looking at is how I have often toyed with the algorithm own in my own channel and my own stuff just to see what differences affects the algorithm there, right? And one of the things that I recognize is YouTube and Twitter algorithms and Facebook algorithms, I'm pretty sure, all have a couple of things very similar. And one of the things that is similar among them is uh, the way the algorithm picks up and carries a channel based on interactions with that channel. So what I've come up with is a plan where you can cultivate and curate a set number of, let's say, tweets, right? We'll take Twitter, for example. If you curate a set number of tweets for your page, right? And you do, say 5, right? Say the number is 5. You can get up in the morning and spend an hour and really cultivate 5 well-produced tweets, right? That are relevant to your channel and relevant to pop
Something
culture,
else.
relevant to things that people will interact with, right? One of those things should be company promotion. So for Soul Monkey Publications, I know today is the Wayfarer's Guide, and then tonight you have the Comic Cinema Clash.
Nah, this is called the show.
No, it's this is called the show. So today for Soul Monkey Publications Twitter, I would want to do one of my tweets as a promotion tweet for the day. Oh, you follow Soul Monkey Publications. Well, check us out today as we do the Wayfarer's Guide, and then check us out tonight when we do This Is Called the Show. And and then later today I'd post one thing for Wayfarer's Guide. Thanks for joining us today on Wayfarer's Guide. This is the stuff we talked about. Thanks so and so for the raids and the joins and the stuff. Thank you guys for following us. Join us next week when we do this. And then later today, I post another one for This Is Called the Show. Guys, don't forget to join us. This is called the show. We're gonna have this discussion today, and join me with my partner, blah blah blah, and post his page too. So there's 3 tweets already today. The fourth tweet that I do in a package like that is a poll, because then you pop interactive stuff. What do you want to see us talk about on This Is Called the Show for later episodes? Pick 3 things that are interesting that you guys want to narrow down for topics that you've already talked about, that you've already done, that you've already, that you want to promote into the line of shows. So then there's an interactive bit, and you get to see who's following you, the specific thing that they want to interact with. And then the 5th one of the day would be like a historical fact or a joke of the day or a whatever, just something light that people can interact with and share around to get you relevance. So those relevance posts, that joking relevance post or that poll post, if you put those up and people interact with them, it kicks the algorithm to show your later posts to the same people that interacted with you already today. So if you time them out early and before you're about to go live, especially on a go live day, then you have that algorithm kickstarted already to show your posts to more people, to get more interaction, to drive more traffic to your channel.
So the numbers, all right. So one, I've been doing the same type of research and shit for the business, and one of the things we're doing is we're coming up with a list of generic post types. The reason why is because to do what you're saying at 5 and 5, which actually does crack the algorithm, 5 posts of 5 relevance, right. It takes 150 posts a month on a 30-month day, right? So that's 150,
which is a lot.
That's 150 individual posts that you gotta post in a month to break the algorithm, right?
Now, it does make it a little easier for Soul Monkey Publications as a team to hit those 150, because you have other content creators that produce content on different days, and you have multiple shows coming out of your publication alone. So those cut down the number of things that you need to post about. But if you make all of your posts about the shows, then you're just posting go live, go live, go live. And that's not what the algorithm is to see either.
No. Okay, so I do make other kind of posts around the shows. I just don't really be on the postings like I should, right? Or none of us really do. But I generally make a weekly, so what I'm supposed to do is right after the Wayfarer's Guide, I'm supposed to get off, make a post to tell everybody to watch next week's Wayfarer's Guide with a Spark card that I made as an advertisement for the show, right? And then I'm really good with this on This Is Called the Show.
Those cards are genius, by the way. So on Twitter, on Twitter especially, if you post a GIF or you post something like a link or anything like that, it doesn't allow you to tag people, but you can tag people in a group that have, like, all the people in Soul Monkey group. You can tag all of them, and if they retweet it, they're all inside the group. We're all generating traffic for each other. Then our group as a whole is also generating traffic for each other. So again, it builds back into that folded.
That's circular marketing, and that's definitely what we survive off of. But the social media and posts in general. One, the card is smart also because it gets you past the word count, which is the reason, or word limitations, right? Or that's the reason why I gravitated to it in the first place when he was like, well, just use the image. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, if you create a graphic card, it can generate much more traffic. The coloring, all of the market theory that goes into graphic generation, all of the ideas of how to get your things seen by more people, they all function on a graphic visual. So all of those ideas are built into that one card for each post. And if you have the ability to make those cards pretty fast, even if it's just generic text and generic backgrounds for each base thing, they're it's still helpful and generates far more traffic in the algorithm than just posting a word cap text tweet about what's going on. It's much more engaging.
No, absolutely. The algorithm needs images more to the point. It wants videos, right? So like I'm really okay. It likes news articles as well. So I'm really good at this on This Is Called the Show, but like with no other show. So I'm really good at being like, so here's this relevant news article I seen, and then make a post about it where I tag the show, I tag the host, and then I link the article or do whatever I'm doing. That's another pretty good post that I make during the week that meets all the requirements. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really good at doing that on This Is Called the Show. I'm really bad at doing that on anything else because I don't follow CBR anymore, right?
Well, and for like this show, it'd be really hard to do that anyway because we're creating a thing that doesn't exist. So having extra bits, the only thing you could really do is take like 1 minute clips out of our episodes and make it the after episode clip.
Yeah.
For a post, you could like literally clip a 1 minute section, like our best whatever monologue we got going on, and use that as the base clip. But even those base clips aren't taggable. So that's where the graphic versus the video is the choice. It's like, do you post the video? Do you post a graphic? Which one are you trying to work the angle on?
Zoidberg, there's nothing stopping you from posting the video and the graphic, right?
Right.
So, bam to that. That's all I'm saying with that.
But yeah, I've been playing with. I've been. I'm hungry for success. I'm hungry for success, Mr. Solution. We need to make that a thing.
I'm also hungry for success.
We can feast upon the virtuous glory of our successes.
But I'm also hungry for actual food.
I had I won't tell you what I had this morning. Sorry.
I probably don't like what you had this morning anyway.
You probably don't. It's fine.
I'm okay. So for all of you who don't know, I have like amazing dietary issues, and then I'm a picky eater. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I can't eat, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff I won't eat. So
I mean, it was good. I liked it.
Your food don't impress me much.
It doesn't.
That don't impress me much.
Mm-hmm.
Got the moves, but do you got the touch? Oh, so you're a rocket scientist.
I actually know one of those.
I actually do too.
As funny as that is, my buddy Brian's dad works for a company, and he actually invented the. He was on the team that invented the infrared toilet flushers.
Oh.
And when they were working on the program, they called it the Weenie Watcher.
That seems legit, actually.
The last program he was working on was a functional lightsaber.
I used to work with this young lady, and I'm sure she's no longer a young lady, but years ago when we worked together, she was definitely my junior. But I used to work with a young lady whose dad was a rocket scientist, and he was a pretty cool dude. But you couldn't say it's not rocket science around him because he'd be like, well, that's not hard.
Yeah, technically. It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Perspective.
That was one of his favorite responses when you said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Yeah, but I can.
So, Rocket science, baby.
Woo. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of exploration into the Twitter algorithm. About to take on the work on the Spondi Entertainment social media. I think I'm pretty sure I'm about to take on the work for the Soul Monkey Publications Twitter, and that'll put me at like 10 to 20 posts a day for both of them plus my own. That should put me a couple hours worth of work in.
Well,
So
lucky for you, we are working on making some generic. Well, not I want to say generic because that's not true, but
usable templates.
yeah, usable templates. So that we have those 150 posts already for the month and just recycle them every month. Actually,
Yeah.
and
As long as you change them a little bit and make them relevant to the currents, then
yeah,
using the idea over and over is fine.
yeah, and really, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, you can schedule posts. Yes, so you can make all your posts. Yeah, you can make all your posts like in the beginning of the month or whatever, or all of them for the year. Fuck, if you really want to, and then just put them on a scheduling calendar and let them go.
And you said that you were using a program to do all of that with, right?
No, Facebook's got that built in. I think IG does too. I don't know if Twitter does.
I believe that they do, but you said that there's a program you were designing all the things in called Spark or something.
Oh yeah. So like to make the image cards and whatever, I use Adobe Spark, which is free. So you can use Spark Online. It is for making social media post cards, right? So like when you go to Spark, it'll be like IG and it has the correct format for like an IG post, and let's say Facebook has the correct format for a Facebook post. You can just go in and just design these image cards really quick and get your idea out or whatever. I generally use them to promote the shows. And like I just have one, that says the time, and the day of the shows, whatever. And then I like generally put that out like right after the show is over. Right, and I'd be like, watch it next week.
There's a whole algorithm breakdown for the timing of stuff like that too. If you get really, really deep into the mechanics of how it all works,
there definitely is.
Yeah, there's and all of the platforms have that same kind of mechanic. They're different depending on the platform, but all of the platforms have that same kind of mechanic. So if you really dive into it, you'll find out exactly the time breakdowns. If you're going to go live at 10 a.m., you want to post on Twitter, the day before at 10 a.m. and the night before at 10 p.m. And then you want to post again an hour before the show, and then maybe as the show goes live to generate the loop that Twitter wants to see on activity on your posts, to really get it picked up for impressions. And while impressions are not necessarily engagements, impressions are a good marker for how far you get your message out. And the more your messages are relatable and engageable, that impression list can tell you how many people you can get to actually interact. So
on the reverse side of that, your normal posts are being stifled, right?
Sometimes.
No, pretty much all the time. If you go to your like Facebook on your feed and then you go to your friend's wall, you will realize that there are like 15 posts that day that you just never seen from your very close friend that you love and adore, and you wish you could have seen their posts, right? That's because 2 days later you're gonna see one of those posts come up on your wall like, hey, this was posted 2 days ago. I hope you're still interested in it. Type of noise, right? Unless you're like a top fan or some shit like that, right? So, your posts are also just not being released to the general public at the rate you believe they're being released at. So if you're trying to get someone to watch something today, then you can't post about it really today, because only a select amount of people are going to see that post in time where it's going to impact your viewership.
Right,
So
and that's why the algorithm wants to see that prior 24 hours, the prior 12 hours, the prior, like, they want to see that build. And like we were talking before, if you have a show on Monday, then you probably want to post about it on Monday for next week, and then Friday for next week, and then Sunday
right.
again. Get that algorithm pickup and really run the number.
And that's a pain in the ass. Like nobody's gonna sit here and be like, yo, it's okay. So one, all right. So a lot of selling yourself on social media is kind of like being like a representative in an MLM, right? Your closest friends and family are going to hate you by the time it's over, and they're gonna be like, "Why you always drive me crazy with these same fucking posts?" But the postings are not for them; it's for the strangers that have never seen any of your posts or whatever, right?
Right.
Like, so when you're representative of MLM, you're always like, "Hey, I got this business opportunity for you. Let me sit you down and talk about it," right? Um, it's the same feeling for your friends and family with your media posts, right? If you're promoting something, you're trying to sell something, all they see from you is that, right? And then they don't they start to lose interest. They're like, well, here we go again with this, same stuff again every week, whatever. But it's not for them. And two, get a public persona to post that stuff from. Like, I don't flood my personal feed with all of my stuff. I mean, I do, put that stuff on my personal feed, whatever. But I got a whole public persona and a company page and all that I make most of my business posts from, so that I'm not completely driving my friends and family insane. Unless they follow me on my pages, then that's on them. But I appreciate it.
Right. Exactly. I have a visitor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a very little visitor.
Okay.
Come here, buddy.
The cat.
Come here. No. No, it's not a cat. Come here. You want to say hi? He doesn't know what to do. He has no idea.
What is it?
My buddy JJ. There's a baby in my house, and it's kind of crazy.
There's a baby?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a baby.
Is it a human baby or is it an animal baby?
No, it's a very human baby.
Why do you have a human baby in your house?
I have a new roommate.
Oh.
He just said he's staring at the lights at me. He doesn't know what to do. He's like, what is going on right now?
I'm like, when did you get a whole baby?
No,
it's
I
only
don't.
been
I
2
don't.
weeks.
No. I don't have a whole baby. There's no whole babies for me.
Well, yeah, I didn't think it was you, and I was hoping it wasn't your oldest child.
And off he goes. Oh God, no! I'll lose my mind.
I was gonna lose my mind. I was gonna be like, what the fuck happened in 2 weeks?
Yeah, Aiden's just 17. He doesn't need to have no babies yet.
Yeah.
I definitely don't need that.
Yeah, no, you scared me for a minute. I was like, why is there a brand new baby in your house?
I scared myself for a second when you said that. I was like, wait, what? No, hold on.
I was like, look, I know I ain't good at math and numbers and stuff, but this don't add up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, mine are all out of diapers. Thank God for that.
Yeah, you know what?
But yeah,
mine too. Mine are all out of diapers. Thank God for that. Mine's got ones in diapers. How about that? Speaking of which, my grandson will be a whole year in like 7 days. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super excited.
I love the first couple of birthdays. Like the first 3, I think, are really good, and then they can be good or bad after the first 3. The first 3 are just them doing them, and they don't really know what's going on. But that 4th one, they know what's up.
I have never had a bad birthday experience with the children.
I I will say that I have had bad birthday experiences with the kids, mostly because the kids' expectations did not meet the reality that was. So it was like, "Oh, you want the proverbial fantasy birthday? Okay, well, that's not happening, so let's rein that in a little bit." The
Yeah, I
kids don't
mean,
meet their expectations.
you know what? So my kids, my kids never really asked for the outrageous things. Now they wanted
But
my
see,
kids
this isn't
always ask for
outrageous, it's just
expensive things, right? Like they don't want fantasy birthday parties or themed birthday parties. There's nothing like that. That's not their jam, right? But they're like, so that switches out, or there's a camera I want, or an iPad that my
well,
kids, you
that's
know,
me for my birthday. What are you talking about? That's my birthday.
no, that's their birthday. Look, I'll be hooking them up. That's why my kids love me, bro. Cause look. I do all the things your kids want. I talk to my kids like they're a person.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying? I listen to them when they got issues. I don't judge
yep.
them for the mistakes that they make. While they were growing up, I bought them the things that they asked for. Right?
I do have a problem sometimes on my judgment level on the mistakes that they make, because sometimes they do things that literally have no logic line, and I
They're
can't follow
children.
how they got there.
They're children. They don't do
Because then
things in the
I'm
realm of logic, and you
no,
can't you
and I
can't
get that.
expect them to.
I I can't stop myself from expecting logic. Like I don't know. I just when Eva was little and we were in Colorado with you,
Mm-hmm.
when we went to go have a cigarette and she would go get her shoes and her coat on because she knew she couldn't come outside with being cold out without a shoes and coat. She was only 2 years old. If
That's
she
a
could
small
display
stretch of logic.
if she could display that kind of logic at 2 and know that this is what is expected and follow that line, then at 15, she should be able to follow the same kind of logic line when she already knows what the expectations are.
So when they're young, every little piece of their body wants to please you, right? So they just do things to please you. It has nothing to do with lines of logic, right? They're just
Right.
like, if I take this action, it will please my parent. By the time they're teenagers, they don't give a singular about you or your emotions. They only care about themselves. And that's because we're all
See,
centric creatures, right? And
luckily, my
teenagers,
daughter does not function that way.
then why are
My
we even
daughter,
having this conversation?
no, it's about logic. It's not about the thing. You said that when they get a little older, their people pleasing ideal goes out the window. And luckily, my daughter has not stopped wanting to please us. She still wants to please people in positions of authority. She still wants to please people in positions above where she's at. She still wants to do those things. She's not as fussed about how you feel about it because she has her own shit going on. But it's about the logic line. It's like, if you want to get paid for doing the dishes, then you should do the dishes properly. I should not have to go back behind you and go filter out all the dishes that you didn't clean well because you're getting paid to do it.
But that's
So if she could
exactly what
the
I'm
logic
saying,
line,
right?
the
Like,
logic lines should be logic lines.
right. That's exactly what I'm saying, though. That's not a logic line for her. That's a I don't care line, right?
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing. That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with logic, right? And she wants to please you at a level, but also at a level she doesn't give a shit about what you think because she's a
Yeah.
teenager,
She just wants her $10
right?
and
She
get
just
out of her face.
exactly right. Like, it has that's exactly what I'm saying is what you're saying, right? It's a level of not caring. It has nothing to do with logic.
And it has grown. That level has definitely grown as she's gotten older.
It will continue to grow until she has things that she had to purchase and take care of. And then
And
her
just
care level will change because then she will be an adult, right? See,
yeah, all
this
of her
is
clothes, all of her shoes, all of her, she pays for all of that because her fashion style is not what I would buy her.
And she takes care of those things too, but she don't buy the dishes and she don't buy the food and she don't know why that stuff's important. It doesn't make any sense to her, right? Because she doesn't have any skin in that particular game, right? But when she becomes older and she's got skin in the game and she's got to deal with all those things, then she's gonna be like, damn, I know why my parents wanted me to wash the dishes. One, I can't live like a slob. Two, it makes my house stink, which I care about. Can't eat off no plates when the dishes is dirty. This is this, like, all the things will become of relevance when it is hers. When everything is hers.
Amen, brother. Preach. Amen,
So
preach.
that's all that is, right? Okay, it's like this, right? So a couple summers ago, I came into a whole bunch of money or whatever, right? I brought a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of stuff, and they all broke it or all kind of stuff, right? This is adults.
Oh, hell no.
This is adults, kids, all that, right? But you want to know why? You don't know the value of something you can't afford.
They didn't work.
Right.
Yep.
You don't know the value of something you can't afford. If it's outside of your reach, you have no concept of how much it actually is. Thus, you don't care how you treat it.
Well, because it didn't cost you anything.
Right. It didn't cost them anything.
Where I'm
right.
completely the opposite end of that spectrum.
Well, even see, here's the deal. Psychologically, if they had the ability to afford it, right, then they still would have treated it with care because they would have known if it was coming out of their pocket how much it was going to cost them, right? But because they have no concept of the type of money I spent on them, that look, I bought DSs for little girls. I bought cars for adults, right? Cars got wrecked. DSs went in bathtubs, all kind of stuff. Or switches, rather. Sorry, not DSs. Switches went in bathtubs. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gave a shit about the money I spent because none of them knew the value of it. None of them could obtain it on their own.
Yeah, the laptops, the tablets, all the stuff that I bought the kids for homeschooling last year, all the stuff that we got them. My son definitely destroyed his tablet. My son has broken his laptop. I had to fix my oldest daughter's laptop before the end of the year last year. My youngest daughter's laptop is gross.
And they don't care.
Yeah, she will not stop like eating something and then running straight to the computer and getting her sticky hands all over it. It's so gross.
Yeah, they don't care because they didn't buy it. Because they didn't
Exactly.
put no money on it, and they have no look. You can tell them. You can be like, "Yo, this costs $4,000 fucking dollars." Do you think they know what $4,000 even looks like?
See, when that's the thing is the laptops I bought at the refurbished place, they weren't more than $400 or $500 a piece, and they have seen that kind of money. They know what $400 or $500 can do. They know how much their stuff costs. They know how much the things they want. Like my son knows that a pack of Pokemon cards is $10 or $12. You know what I mean? So he knows how many packs of Pokemon cards a computer is worth. He gets it.
See, that still doesn't translate when you don't have to go make the money.
Out, right.
Right. Like, I can tell you how much $400 is worth. I can show you what we can get with $400 up and down. You know what I'm saying? But until you got to go make $400, you have no concept of what $400 is.
Yes.
Like that number. Look, for a child, for a teenager, $4, $40, $400, $4,000, $400,000, $4 million is the same fucking amount.
Yeah, until they have an income, which is why I set my daughter up doing dishes for $10 a week. It's not that much money, but every week she gets to go skating. Every week she gets to buy a Monster. Every week she gets to save up for a new thing. Now she just got a new phone on her plan, so she's paying that off, and that's like 2.5 weeks of her paycheck every month.
Right. So
it's only $35 a month, but it's half her money every month.
That's when they learn the value of $1 is after they start.
She has been hard taking care of that phone.
Yeah, after they got to start paying for things with money they've earned, as opposed to money that was given to them or they just got an item. The whole world becomes different. Teenagers live in a very special place where
even adults have this issue.
Yeah, well, yeah, because there's a lot of adults that still live like teenagers, right?
I mean, even dude, I haven't been living like a teenager since I was 18. I moved out of the house, went to college, did my own thing. I still have this problem where I'm like, okay, I got this going on, I got that going on, but I don't have to worry about this other stuff because I'm not worried about it.
No, I mean you got okay. That's not having enough money to live every day, right?
So,
Like that's the side effect of that, right? Because if we had the money to deal with the thing, we would just deal with it, right?
when
You know what I'm
due
saying?
to my wife's job, we haven't been in that position where we've had to worry about any of that for a while either. But yet, luxury purchases, like we have enough to get the bills paid, we have enough to eat, we have enough to put gas in the cars and buy cigarettes and do whatever we want to do. We go to lunch. We don't even worry about it. She wants food while she's at work. She orders it. If I want to pick up McDonald's for the kid one night, I go get it. You know what I mean? Like we're in a comfortable space, but I know that if I just go ham and buy like 4 cameras, we're gonna set ourselves up for a month. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
which I would do if I had it, but I know that I'm just not. I shouldn't.
Well, see, I'm not talking about those kind of purchases. I am talking about the regular lifestyle purchases, the ones you were talking about when I made that original comment, right? Like,
Yeah, luckily we are finally in a place, like it wasn't that way always, but being in that place for so long and not being able to do things that you wanted to for so long really does a number on your mentality about being capable and where you're safe.
yep.
Like that's a thing.
And what you can do and what you can't do with your life, like that is restrictive. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it's hard.
saying? It's hard. Like it really, like when you gotta be like, all right, so not do I pay a bill or go out, but do I pay this bill or pay that bill?
Right.
Right? Like that is a
Bruh.
life, bruh. That's a lifestyle that'll ruin your like everything. Look, your esteem, your mentality, your psychology, everything goes out the window when your life is reduced to which bill do I pay so I can survive today.
Exactly. And
Right.
a lot of people don't get it because a lot of people have never been in the position, or maybe they have and they've only been in that position and they don't know any different, or
Right.
and kind of skirting it and don't even realize that that's how precarious the scenario that they're in is.
Like
It's
I be all around that target.
that's just circling the hole, buddy. Just circling the hole.
Man. Look, sometimes I'm so flush and sometimes I'm so broke.
It seems sort of like the government doesn't even recognize that the majority of the population is just one bad incident away from absolute ruin and bankruptcy.
No, they know
Like,
that's how they choose to keep us. That's how they make it's part of how they make their money is on that system. Right? Where we have just enough to buy their goods and services and also not enough to do anything else with our lives.
we definitely don't have enough to fix the problem.
But go to work. Like they give us just enough money to go to work.
Which the word work, as far as I'm concerned, should be the thing that we reevaluate. We should have a different idea of what work is. We should have a different idea of what we do as a living, as an income, as a passion, as a whatever.
Look,
but we have not, as a people, come together to recognize that our passions should be our work. And as many times as I've heard the quote, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life, as many times as I've heard it, nobody seems to know how to get there. Like that, doesn't exist.
It's the core tenement of the Republican Party that I believe in, right? Everyone should create their own enterprise, right? You shouldn't work for anyone, but they made this system since the industrial period of attractive, mindless work where you don't got to be responsible. You just got to come do the same. Right. You got to do the same menial task day in and day out, and you will collect a check, payment for your efforts. Right. But before the industrialization of civilization, you had to learn a craft.
Yeah, you had to have a trade good. You had to have a something.
Right.
You had to do it on your own.
Even working for someone was learning a craft.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But, we came into the industrial
Every
age.
intern ever.
And freaking, they was like, yo, here's this factory work. Here's this restaurant work. Here's this, and it's evolved to telecom work and this and that. But
Service
it's all
industry.
Right. It's all the service industry. Right. I don't care what level of
manufacturing and service both did that.
Yeah. Well, manufacturing is service. Right. Even though you're not dealing with the public, you're still servicing something. Right. It's all actually the service industry. Right. And the service industry welcomes employment. Right.
Well, yeah, because they thrive on that. That's the product.
That's right. Like they're like, hey, we want to make millions and we want to pay you like, I don't know, $32,000, $3,200,000, $32,000 this year. But we're going to make like, $70 billion off your efforts.
Right. And then too, like, so then we get into this cycle where the society is, oh, you need to go to work and collect your paycheck. So what do you do? Like for me, where I've been in a company off and on since early 2000s, I was indoctrinated into the culture of the company. I respected what they were doing with it. I believed in the ideals that they pushed forward as a company, as a culture. The guy that was in charge of that culture was the CEO. He got removed from the company. The board of directors took over. And since the board of directors took over, the only thing the culture of the company is concerned with is profits. They're not worried about the quality. They're not worried about the people. They're not worried about they're just not worried about that thing anymore. And then you watch a culture of something that you respected be torn away from a thing just for profit margins. And you look at it and you're like, wait, but why though?
Because money.
But why do you need more?
So, okay, the perspective that you're using, while I personally value it, like, my core tenement stuff, the perspective is childish, right? Like, it is about the bottom end of every business. It's not, so they make it appear about the culture and it makes you, the employee, feel good. It's the same thing they use in an MLM, right?
But say your position, right? Say the group of dudes around you decided that you were hindering the profitability of the company by adhering to ideals that you saw for your business. You want a specific set of quality when you guys make shirts. You want a specific set of quality when you get 3D printed materials. You want a specific set of quality when you put out graphics and comics and productions, right? So then three dudes that are behind you in the pecking order are all like, man, we can make more money if we cut this stuff, but he's not doing it. So let's just get him out of the way. And they remove you from the organization altogether. And the next thing that they do is maximize profits by cutting your quality. All the people that worked for you were built up under your quality requirements. Okay. And now all of a sudden the company has decided that those are not important. Profits all that matter. We're going to move forward without this guy.
So, one, I understand exactly what you're saying. From the outside, it seems effed up, right? But first, in my company, the first thing we're always like, whatever's best for the company, even if that's someone's removal, whatever's best for the company is best for the company, right?
But is that drop in quality for higher profit margins?
What's going to talk about perceived quality because that is perceived, right?
No, it's measurable.
Nah, hold on. It really, okay. So I'm going to tell you, sitting from the top of an organization, right, that there is the quality that you absolutely want to see from a product, and it is the quality that you will accept from what is going to be delivered, right? And if your demand on quality is hindering the profitability of the deliverable, you need to bring down the level of quality. I'm telling you, that's the truth. That's the real shit. So hold on. I've been dealing with this dude that's polishing for a living, right? He does like high-end mirror finish polishing unlike I've ever seen, right? He gets paid a lot of money to do it when he gets jobs, right? But everybody else in the polishing industry does not do that level of polishing. You want to know why?
Because it's time consuming and expensive.
Because it's time consuming and it's expensive, and they can turn out more products and more projects simply by just polishing it. And
but
being
if you want
done with
fast,
it,
you're gonna call that other guy.
But almost no one's calling that other guy because they don't care about the best. They don't need okay, you know what? My dude I do the Monday show with, right? He does journals and stuff and covers and all that on contract work, right? He made all these bomb covers for this client or whatever, right? And they kick back all of those. Some of them too complicated, to this, to that. He made some old basic bitch shit, and the client was like, oh my God, I love it. It's exactly what I wanted, because that is actually what people are paying for. And the deeper I get into this, the more I understand that it is not professional, high-grade stuff that people want. They don't want to pay for it. They can't afford it, and they don't understand it. The deeper I get into this, the more I realize what people want are simple. I thought people were tripping because they wanted to buy my podcast after seeing my podcast work. What I do is pretty basic, right? But that's because people love fucking basic. That's actually what they love. The more complex you make something as a creator, the less the general audience is interested in it. Creators become...
The more complex it is perceived. Yes. Really, the more complex it is behind the scenes, the simpler it looks on the outside.
Yes.
That the magic thing happened. Like when you set up a stream set and you have all these extra buttons that do this, 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 and this, and nobody notices that you're doing this, 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 and this, but it still happens. They enjoy the effect.
Absolutely. And, you know, but the more simple it is, the more the audience is like, yes, I resonate with that, because they can imagine themselves doing it, right? They're like, yes, that is obtainable at that level. Like, the more you put into, the more artistry you put into something, the more likely only artists will appreciate it.
I feel that.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I feel that.
Right, like that's what happens. Like, the artistic community is like, oh, you made a masterpiece, right? But the regular community is like, that's nice.
Yeah, that's cute. All right, next.
Yeah, that's cute. Next, right? Like, they have, again, with the money, right? Until you start making money, you have no concept of what money is. Until you start creating content of some type, you have no idea what goes into that.
You literally just sounded like every Wind Waker critic ever for the first 2 years the game came out.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Because nobody got the effort that went into the cell shading animation theory. I
love Wind Waker. Like, I love Wind Waker. I thought Wind Waker was the best Zelda game that still, to this day, that has ever come out. I love Wind Waker. Yo, you can't tell me the art wasn't on point. You can't tell me the story wasn't on point. You can't tell me the mechanics wasn't on point. Look, that game was great. I love that game so much. I laid in the bed sick and beat it, the whole thing, 100% in 8 hours. That's how much I love Wind Waker.
I can still claim 64's Ocarina of Time as the greatest one ever, because that's still my favorite. I can't disagree with your opinion on all of those factors, but I can still say that Ocarina is the one. And
you can, because it's an opinion-based conversation, right? And I do also love Ocarina of Time. Like, you know, that was like...
But it also had amazing art, amazing story,
amazing
replayability, the whole night. Like, it was still...
I just think that Nintendo teams were bold for taking that step with the cell shading. I think they were bold for making a world that you had to travel around by boat and go to all these different islands. I thought the
It was
whole game,
huge.
yeah, it was a huge game. I thought the whole
Huge
game
turnover.
was like, look, for me, Wind Waker was everything. Like for me, it was everything. It was more than Majora's Mask. It was more than Ocarina of Time. Like for me, it was everything.
I mean, I still like Legend of Zelda 2, so.
Well, you have a pre-chance for older games, but it's
That's-
9:05. We were a little late getting in here, so I'll let this run a little past. But we're gonna take our break now. It's
when
time
we
for the
come
breaking.
back,
We're
when we
probably
come-
gonna.
oh, we going through some virtual verses. I've been excited about this for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
There's a
we're
lot
gonna
to go on.
get into virtual verses when we get back. But we'll be back. We love you guys. We'll be back in like 10 minutes.
For sure. I love you.
We back, yeah, we back, yeah, we back, yeah, we back. All right, but no, we're back. Really, it's still Monday, the second half of the
I
hour.
hope it's still Monday because I would have missed a lot of time already.
No, it's still Monday, still top of the hour, still
It
Wayfarer's
did. I was
guide.
like, wait, what? I was like, wait, it's still Monday? Yeah, okay.
It's still Dragon, it's still Mr. Solutions. We're still awake early in the morning. Say word.
Sure enough. So, which section are we jumping into today on Virtual Versus?
So, what is funny is I really didn't have time to watch last week's episode, so I don't remember.
we were body data. I think we were going over body skills and knacks.
That sounds right. I'm
gonna open up the body chapter.
That sounds legitimate, what you're saying. Sounds like it has merit.
We did that part.
I think we're in the body chapter part.
Yeah, that's what but I think that we did. I think we did this. Wielding.
Yeah, we're like just finished getting through wielding, I'm pretty sure.
No, we went into we definitely got into some of these particular skills and perks.
Well, that's dope. I tell you what, I'm getting the document pulled up right now. All right. And I will actually pull up the.
Yeah, I know. You got your diaper changed? Cool.
The other body skills and knacks with the chart. And I'll put that over here too.
Okay. He's just sitting here chilling, watching me again.
Children are awesome. Oh, there we are on the share screen. I probably should change my camera.
That is this one.
Well, no, I just pulled them both up, but I'm gonna go to the other one. So you stay on the other one.
Okay. Body chapter. Yeah. And like I said, I think that we went into anatomy.
Yeah, we were into anatomy. Okay, so one, I think we're all the way down to like anatomy muscular.
Okay.
Or
anatomy muscular.
I think. Yeah, because we read that blood clone stuff, and then I'm pretty sure we're here at anatomy muscular. And whatever. If we didn't read it, then you'll eventually get a copy of this anyway to read, audience. So, you'll have to learn this stuff anyway. But anatomy muscular. Right. Muscular system. Taking knacks in the muscular system will allow virtuals to take better control of. That's weird how I wrote that. Taking knacks in the muscular system will allow virtuals to take better control of their healing and growth of their own muscles and those of their adversaries for various effects. There you go.
Before we continue, disclaimer, as usual, this is a work in progress. This whip is not entirely finished, so bear with us as we go through this.
Totally unedited as well. I just wrote the document and it was like, I'm gonna get to editing it later, and never did. So there you go.
Well, because you took a long break on this, but we're back to it now, and we're gonna get this refined. It'll be fine.
Mistakes abound.
So the next section is weakened fibers. Using the knack weakened fibers will allow the virtual using it to weaken their adversary's block by -1 for 1 hour.
Well, we didn't read strength
so
and
this
fibers,
is
but strength and fibers is the opposite.
right.
Yes. Repair fibers, same point cost at level 0 for everything else. Activating the knack repair fibers will repair the muscle fibers of the virtual or ally, granting +1 block to that round. That's cool.
I almost feel like that should also have a secondary effect of adding back hit points or adding back something. I mean, it's called repair fiber.
All right, you're right. We'll get to that later.
Because strengthen does the +1 to block for 1 hour. And then, but that's just for 1 round.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Tear fibers. Using tear fibers on an adversary will cause the muscle fibers in their body to tear, causing extreme pain, and a -1 point to their vitality that round at 0 PP.
Yeah. Muscle puppet. Kind of like blood puppet. Using the knack muscle puppet, the virtual is able to control the target's muscles and control the actions for 1 round. They're able to use the target's normal movements and actions.
Grow muscle mass at 0 PP. As the knack grows mass allows the virtual to grow muscle mass. The increase in mass grants a +1 to virtual's body core stat, which is effective to other mechanics on basically the rest of the character sheet.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
your stats like that.
Yeah, grow mass is cool. And yeah, I thought I did a good job with the stats here. Using kinetic conversion. Using kinetic conversion, the virtual is able to convert kinetic energy into power, granting +1 to a virtual's power points.
That's sweet.
Yes, it is.
I can see lots of uses for that. Dense muscles. Virtuals using a dense muscles are able to make their muscle very dense, granting a +1 to attack action and a +1 to block. However, the virtual must have equal points in weightlifting or suffer taking a round penalty to movement or attack being to 1 attack action or movement action per round, which makes sense.
I did not do too bad making these power sets.
Yeah, no, they're pretty functional. I can see the usage of them. I don't know that I would necessarily pursue all of these kinds of builds, but I can see characters that would.
Yeah, no. Okay, so when I was making this, side note, when we were making this, me and Jake, we were like, how do we represent like every superpower that's ever been superpowered? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we represent, using, overgrowth, growing larger or growing smaller, or, making your muscles dense for strength, blah, 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 right? Like, how do you do that? Yeah, exactly. How do you do that? So we made it to anatomy, nervous system. That's exciting.
It is. Nervous system.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, you did the last one. Mastering the nervous system, virtuals will become masters of inducing pain, pleasure, paralysis, and a host of other conditions within themselves and their adversaries. Induce pain.
Ooh-wee, right? Induce pain. Like everything else on this list, it starts at level 1. To just give you a recount, guys, of what this leveling chart looks like, it pretty much works like this. Level 1 requirements have a 0 PP cost, and they do 1 point of damage. As you go up, it's 212, 323, 737, 11, blah, 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 blah. So as you go up the scale and the moves become these names, then they have these variables for the same things we're reading for +1s and -1s and whatever, right? So in this case, like at ultra powerful, this would be ultra powerful induced pain, and uh, it would do negative 29 points to block for 1 round. I don't think the rounds will go up per level. I just think
that's a big hit.
Yeah.
That you said a big number there. I was like, dang.
Yeah. Right. So that's how that works. So, induced pain. Virtuals possessing the knack induced pain have massive control. I think I read this, huh? No, I didn't.
No,
Virtuals possessing the knack induced pain have master control of the nerves associated with pain. The virtual can cause a cessation of pain in themselves or others for 1 round. If you're into that masochist of causing, or sadomasochist of causing pain to yourself,
well,
you can.
I'm sure that there's probably a build that does something like if you take X amount of pain damage or X amount of pain effect,
of course,
then there are benefits, rage effects, things like that.
Of course.
Induce pleasure. Virtuals possess the knack induce pleasure, have mastered the nerves associated with pleasure. The virtuals can cause the sensation of pleasure in themselves or others for 1 round, +1 to power points.
That is kind of a dope move. You could just orgasm someone to death.
There's a cooking anime about that.
Yep. Induce paralysis. Virtues possessing the knack induced paralysis are able to use the mastery of the nervous system to cause paralysis in an adversary for 1 round. I suppose they could do it to themselves, but why would you want to paralyze yourself? I don't know. But
I mean, astral projection,
I guess.
I could see potential uses. It could be interesting. Induce illusions. Virtuals possessing the knack induce illusions are able to use their mastery of the nervous system to control the nerves in the brain in order to induce illusions on the target adversary. Now that I can see being very useful.
Genjutsu. What?
For real.
Enhanced nerve function. You're gonna dig this. The knack enhanced nerve function allows virtuals possessing this knack. That's written wrong. The knack enhanced nerve function allows virtuals possessing this knack to be able to enhance their nerve function of an ally, allowing the target an increase in speed, 1 speed level for 1 round. Yes. This is how we get speedsters.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at that. I was like, yeah, that's definitely the first level flash bit.
Oh, yeah.
Decrease in nerve function. The knack decrease nerve function allows virtuals possessing this knack to decrease the nerve function of an adversary, causing the adversary to lose 1 speed level for 1 round.
Actually, you know what? I need to look at something over here. Requirement course damage. It doesn't say anything about rounds. We might have to investigate that. No. You see, like things like this, like the speed one, we might have to like up the rounds, right? Well, no, I guess you can still just have the max 29 speed at 1 round. Just for every round you move at that speed, and that'd be fine. Okay, right on. And yes, we also have the slowdown, which you just read, which is dope. Fire synapses. Virtues using the knack fire synapses are in a heightened state of awareness, granting them +1 standard action in the round. However, all damage sustained while in this state is sustained at a +1.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Isn't it though? I'm actually impressing myself while I read this, by the way.
Yeah. Deadened nerves. Virtuals using the knack deadened nerves feel no pain, and because of this, negate any physical damage for 1 round. However, the target of deadened nerves will lose the next round action. Which, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good balance.
Yeah, I think so.
All of these being balanced, but still, like, you build them in the right way, probably everything in this thing is just OP as shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything in here can be OP as shit. All right. Or anatomy organs. Virtues who focus their points in anatomy organs will be able to convert their organs into different forms of matter, as well as protect themselves from damage and critical strike damage. Protect organs. Description: virtues with protect organs can withstand strikes to vital organs, allowing virtues to withstand all critical attacks with as many vitality points as the virtual has levels in protected organs.
Nice. So that's kind of like Colossus style stuff.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So
repair organ.
Hold on, before we go any further, the intent is with these, right, is to write them all maxed out. So you see they all are maxed out, and then write other ones, other knacks and things that are adjoinments of these knacks, right? So this is far from done. Like I said, it's just the most complete in the layout. But
I see the leveling progression on this functioning very similar to like Path of Exiles, where you have perk points and everything comes out from a web.
Yeah.
And you have to get across the web to get to the other functions of the different functions of the game.
Largely, right?
Yeah.
So like as we write newer knacks, it'll be like the knacks will require, repair organs and protected organs, and that'll make like steel organs. Right? Or, it'll grow into something, as you, like, and then like to have that, you'll need to have like protected organs level, 4, and then, repair organs level 2 or something. Like those would be the requirements. So just in case, just so you all know where my brain is at, right?
Skills and max, right.
Yeah. Am I on repair organs? Is that what I'm reading? I was just talking.
I'm on repair organs.
Okay.
So repair organs is virtuals who have the knack repair organs can repair damage done to organs, granting a +1 to vitality. So you can use your vitality points to do other skills, and then use the repair organs to regenerate those vitality points as an automatic.
Yep. Metallic organs. I already got that in here. I thought so. The knack metallic organs allows virtuals to convert all organs to metal, granting +1 to attack, +1 to block, and +1 to block for 1 hour. However, virtuals become heavy and can only move once per round or attack once per round unless the virtual also possesses the weightlifting knack of equal levels. Virtual must also have equal points in the knack sustain charge, or else sustain a -1 point to vitality per round. Or sustain change. Sorry. There you go. Actually,
nice.
Put a lot of thought into that.
Right. Yeah, no, it seems like it. And that's still, again, pretty balanced. And it's controlled, which is good. Fire organs. Fire organs allow the virtual convert all organs into fire for 1 hour, granting a +1 to all attacks and adding +1 burn damage. The round following. Yeah, there we go. All successful attack actions. However, the virtual is on fire, and without the knack sustain change, the virtual will suffer -1 to vitality every round. So that'd be like Human Torch without the ability to sustain.
Yeah. So you see how important like the sustain knack is gonna be to like a lot of different builds, because if you don't have that, you won't be able to sustain the damage you're taking from the change, right? Balance. Ice organs. Description: ice organs allows the virtual to convert all organs into ice for 1 hour, granting +1 to all attacks and adding +1 frost damage to the round following all successful attack actions. However, the virtual is frozen, and without the knack sustain change, the virtual will suffer -1 vitality to every round. Same penalty.
Yep. Multiple organs. Multiple organs allows virtuals to grow +1 set of extra organs for 1 hour because they have grown another set of organs. The virtual is immune to critical attacks. So that'd be like if you grew 2 hearts, you'd be immune to critical targets.
Yep.
For like strikes, heart damage, because you have a secondary.
So
stop it from doing damage to you, but would definitely take away the ability to crit you like that.
Okay, so I watched this. I read this manhwa called the Return of the Sorcerer King, right? And he's got two brains, right? So he has an artificial brain that he keeps in a box that he uses just to do calculations for him, like simultaneously with his own brain. So like,
Right.
yeah. That's a really good use for that multiple organ shit.
Dude, I was thinking when I'm reading it, I'm like, man, multiple organs. I can see the benefits of that, and definitely take away crit. Like, man, advancements on that knack will be very interesting.
Man, slow organ function. Virtues can use slow organ function to cause adversaries to slow down, causing them to only be able to take one movement action or one attack action per round.
Whoop. Yeah, that'd be cool. So no lungs for you. Cool.
Yeah.
And that anatomy respiratory system. Placing points in the respiratory system, virtuals will be able to easily breathe underwater or create powerful gusts of wind to damage.
Got it.
To damage and knock back opponents, breathing fire and ice become small feats for the virtual who takes respiratory system knacks. Breath. Virtuals who use the knack breath can create a power gust with their breath, filling 1 cubic space, doing 1 point of damage, and knocking back adversaries 1 space. So that'd be like Superman's breath weapon, sort of. His gust ability. Not frozen breath, but the gust ability.
But this would be his frozen breath ability. Ice breath. Virtues who have ice breath are able to breathe 1 cubic space of ice cold breath, not breathe, causing plus 1 point of damage and freezing adversaries in place for 1 round.
Woot. And then here's Uncle Iroh. Fire breath is breathed into 1 cubic of area, doing plus 1 point of damage and plus 1 additional points of damage due to the adversaries being on fire for 1 round.
Iron Lung. The knack Iron Lung will allow virtuals to hold their breath for 1 round, even when the environment is hazardous or otherwise.
Now, are those rounds stackable?
As your level goes up, or you can so you can spend your first half action in a round being like, all right, I'm reinstituting Iron Lungs again. You know what I'm saying?
So it functions as a partial movement to reinstitute the skill? Okay.
Yeah. Or, you can get to the high level and then you can be like, I got it for 29 rounds. So like some of these will have to go up per round. Some of them will have to remain, their number will go up, like the power will go up, but it still only lasts a round.
Right. It's more effective, but still activatable.
Right.
Cool. All right. Underwater breathing. Underwater breathing allows the virtual to breathe underwater for 1 round. Now, if you have Iron Lung and you just use that instead, you wouldn't have to necessarily breathe, but then you'd only have a limited amount of rounds that you couldn't breathe before you would run out of oxygen and suffocate. Right. Water breathing allows you to actually still breathe while underwater.
Exactly. And that's another one that would have to go up. The power would have to go up in the round. Like the round would have to go up instead of the power, right? So you get 29 rounds at the max of underwater breathing. Inhale. With the knack inhale, the virtual is able to inhale 1 cubic space of gas. Virtues must have resistance to gases inhale, or else applicable damage will result.
There are knacks for poison immunities and all kinds of stuff, and given those interactive, you could literally just absorb a cubic space of chlorine gas if you were immune to chlorine and just have no effect, saving the entirety of your party.
And then you can exhale the fumes
into a different space, causing the opponents to have a problem.
Right. Which is the next move. Exhale fumes. Virtuals who can exhale fumes are able to create and breathe out fumes, which will cause one of the following random effects in any 1 cubic space. So this is if they haven't inhaled something else prior to, and they just I got fumes to exhale. Yeah, you can fill that in if you like. I just didn't feel like that.
No, I get it, but I was like, nope, I need to put that one in before I forget because that is an effect. There you
Yeah,
go.
poison is an
So
effect.
many.
Toxic is an toxic, whatever. Just yeah, dizziness. There's totally tons of effects that can be put in.
That is definitely not spelled right. Yeah,
No,
there we go.
poison. I would say those are it, really.
We'll just do that. There you go. All right, anatomy skeletal system. Bone weapons and armor await the virtue to take up knacks in the skeletal system. The skeletal system will allow virtuals to protect themselves from harm or control adversaries through their bones. Grow bone. Virtuals who have the knack grow bone are able to grow bony protrusions or thick layers of bone for 1 hour. Grown bones can be used to attack for +1 damage or be used in defense for +1 to block. However, player must have equal levels in sustain change or suffer level requirements worth of point damage per round for 1 hour. Must have equal levels in sustain change or suffer level requirements worth of
A
point
point
damage.
damage for 1 hour. So, like, if you grow bones and you don't have sustained change, then you will get 1 point of damage per round for an hour if you have the bones out.
Okay.
Right. Bone puppet. Virtues with the knife bone puppet are able to control the skeletal structures of adversaries for 1 round, allowing the virtual using bone puppet to use the basic movements and attack moves of the control adversary.
Malleable bones. Virtuals who have the knack malleable bones find themselves to be extremely flexible because of this virtual. Using its malleable bones finds it easier to avoid attacks, granting a +1 to block for 1 hour. Now, is there a separate dodge or a block, or is it all considered block?
It's all considered block.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think we wrote a dodge mechanic per se. Now, you can say I want to dodge a thing, but that dodge is calculated with your block.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I was just making sure that was a thing.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you can be like, oh, all right, so I want to dodge this attack, but we're going to get that number for your dodge from your block. Right? That's all the same shit. You can be like, I want to block this attack. You're still going to get it from the block.
Is block affected by a character's agility, speed, anything like that?
In some instances, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that just curious how that rounded off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the way it's built is so that those three, the body, the mind, and the spirit stuff all should stack and play off each other and add bonuses and points to things like block and you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I was just curious, just as for the balance of the whole thing, just to make sure that one was affected all around the process.
No, absolutely. And we're gonna as we start to after we go through everything we wrote and we start to rework this, we're definitely going to work on balance even more. Dense
as
bone.
we go through.
Description: dense and bone allows virtuals to make their bones extremely dense for 1 hour, granting a plus to all core stats. However, you are limited to 1 movement or 1 action per round due to your density. Equal levels in weightlifting will negate the penalty.
Right. It seems like a lot of the I'm going to add mass. You definitely want to have those weightlifting equals.
Absolutely. The same way you need to sustain change knack if you're going to be doing stuff to your body. You know what I'm saying?
Bone weapon. Virtuals who possess the knack bone weapon are able to create a weapon made of their own bones for 1 hour. Weapons created from bone do +1 point of damage per level of knack. For bone weapon, that's like Wolverine claws kind of thing.
Yeah, that actually has to take a damage penalty if there's not sustained change.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, and while you're writing that, I'll read the next one. Bone armor. Virtuals possessing the knack bone armor are able to cover themselves with bone armor, granting them a +1 block against any type of attacks for 1 hour. However, Player must have equal levels in the sustain change or suffer level requirements worth of point damage per round for 1 hour. Virtual must also possess at least 1 point in weightlifting to support the new massive weight or be restricted to 1 movement or 1 action per round. I like that or bit. That's rough.
Wait, let me see. Wait, or be restricted to. Oh yeah. No, certain things is
So
really.
I'm just saying I like I like that. The balance
No,
on that is good.
me too. Yeah, look, certain things in my mind required like really bad penalties. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get to just be, wearing bone armor and then you can just run around like normal. That doesn't work.
Right.
Metallic bones. Virtuals using metallic bones are granted +1 to all other bone-like abilities for 1 hour. However, a player must have equal level of sustain change or suffer a level requirement worth of point damage per round. This also needs to have this weightlifting penalty as well.
Yeah, you just copy paste it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right. Brittle bones. Virtuals using brittle bones cause -1 to adversaries' vitality per round of knack level. Now, so all right, so all these things are requiring weightlifting and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you try to use these abilities against a character that does have levels in weightlifting or does have levels in uh what is it, the change one? Sustain change?
Yeah, so
So
they work exactly how you imagine, how you want to say right now. So if you use it against an enemy that has these levels in these things, then they can negate your attack with
yeah,
those levels,
yeah.
right?
Well,
So
it would
like,
negate the penalties.
right. Well, that's essentially negating your attack,
Right.
right? It would like so.
Interesting.
So if I want to cast brittle bones on somebody and I want to cast at level 1, but they got level 2 sustain change, then I'm not going to be successful because I can't outroll their sustain change, which is going to sustain the change of me casting brittle bones.
Right. So
You
it
see,
just makes it interesting the way you build it defensively against the other abilities.
exactly, because the same things that are going to aid you are also going to defend you against certain attacks.
Oh, this is a knack I need. Control hair.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Virtuals who have the knack control hair can control their hair for 1 hour. They must have points in the various knacks and wielding whip in order to use this hair as a weapon. Whoever having control over hair will allow a virtual to gain +1 to block. It literally is like that one guy in the Muay Thai movies with it puts the blade in his ponytail and like swings it around, cuts dudes all up. Yeah.
Or you can wear it like Jiraiya as a hair cocoon. That's the +1. That's where the +1 to block comes from. I put in my hair cocoon.
Yeah, it's almost like a prehensile tail.
Yeah, control nails, kind of the same deal. Virtuals who possess the knack control nails can grow their nails up to 1 foot per hour. Nails can be used as weapons, provided the virtual has points in wielding unarmed. I'm sure there needs to be like you want to take like strengthened bones or something before you use nails as a weapon, but we'll figure that out.
Well, yeah, it's value, add up. That's the thing about the knacks. When you build together with them, you can really choose unique combinations that do different things. And one person would be really good at one aspect of something, but be really bad at another aspect of it. And a character that's built around that other aspect instead of the thing is the opposite.
Yeah,
so it makes it out really well. So we're on acrobatics, athletics, acrobat. Acrobatics. Acrobatics allows virtuals to jump over obstacles, flip over adversaries to avoid attacks, or leave them confused to add bonuses to your attacks. Mastering acrobatics will also allow you to launch deadly attack combos from high above your adversary's head, causing instant attack damage to unsuspecting foes. Athletics. Acrobat. Virtuals who have the knack jump are granted a +1 to jump 1 meter across or less. I'm sure that's also a height thing also.
Yes. You can imagine that everywhere but going through the ground. Right. So
Right, and
whatever, yeah,
full
whatever
speed
angle you
and
want to jump in 1 meter, you're good for it. Right. You want to jump a meter
nice.
straight up, you're good. You want to jump a meter 45 degrees that way, you're good. You know what I'm saying? High
Oh, you have
jump.
it set. Yeah, you have it set as different. It's there's a length in jump and a height in high jump.
Yes. I see that now. So virtues have the knack high jump are granted +1 to all jump straight up in the air 1 meter or less. So yeah, no, high jump is a different thing. And that actually makes sense in my mind now that I've read it like that.
It does sort of. Why it would be separated does make sense, but at the same time, is I could see
Okay.
combining. Flip. The knack flip allows virtuals to flip over one space. If a virtual is engaged in combat with an adversary, then they are able to avoid the attack completely, or if they flip into a space adjacent to a space occupied by a different adversary, then the virtual using flip becomes open to an instant attack by the new adversary. And that is the attack of opportunity bits. That's always fun.
Yep. Backflip. The knack backflip allows virtuals to flip backwards over one space. If a virtual is engaged in combat with an adversary, then they're able to avoid the attack completely. However, if they flip into a space adjacent to a space occupied by a different adversary, then the virtual using backflip, is what that should say there, becomes open to an instant attack by the new adversary. However, if the backflip in if they backflip in front of another adversary, then the virtual using backflip is granted an instant attack. That actually should have been at the end of flip as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see that. Jump attack. Jump attack allows a virtual to jump in the air and attack using a standard attack action, confusing adversaries. Oh, and granting a +1 to that attack. Virtual must have knack jump. So there is the leaping strikes and things like that. Oh. All right. And then flip attack.
Flip attack. Yeah. Flip attack allows the virtual to flip and attack simultaneously. This will allow virtuals all the benefits of the knack flip, plus the opportunity for instant attack due to the adversary's confusion. Virtuals must have the knack flip.
Tumbler. This one's one of my favorite bits right here. The knack tumbler will allow a virtual to make one flip and backflip in the same round. If a virtual has flip attack, then they are able to attack as they tumble through adversaries. That was one of my favorite things to do in D&D under the D20 system, was to build a small creature that could occupy the same space as its adversaries and take no penalties, to travel through the spaces of their adversaries and take no penalties, and move around the battlefield taking no penalties, and having their opponents not be even able to hit them because of their small stature and size makes them much harder to hit.
Daredevil.
Woo! Daredevil is a fun show.
Virtuals have place points in Daredevil have no fear of heights and are sure of foot, allowing them to attack adversaries from heights of 10 meters or lower with an instant attack and +1 to attack. If the attack action is successful, then the virtual can take a second attack as a standard action. However, if the virtual fails on the first attack, they will land prone, suffering -1 point to their vitality, and leave themselves open to an instant attack from the intended target, as well as lose 1 round action. Yes.
So high risk, high reward.
And as you see, it requires athletic knacks,
several things. Yeah.
Athletic knack jump, high jump, flip, backflip, and tumbler. So you need to have all of the. You need to have all these knacks to even get Daredevil.
Just to get Daredevil, and then you have to put your points into Daredevil. And all of these points stack as you go up in each of the other knacks. I'm sure that they all have a stacking across the board.
Exactly.
All right.
So look, we're at 9:57.
I was about to say, I think right here is a good spot to break. We're on contortion for next week. which is sweet since it's a chapter break. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I I'm enjoying this little soiree through virtual versus. I didn't write a bad little system here.
No, not at all. And in fact, as we go through it, I am actually contemplating more and more of like what I can do with it and how the characters build. And the only real concern that I have is getting skill, like getting knack and skill points fast enough to make a difference in the abilities of the character from level to level. Like, that's the only
Um,
thing that I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Okay, I wonder how many points I get. Wonder how hard it would actually be to build a character that isn't just focused in one thing, but has
when
a well
when we were
repertoire." And
reading how the points were rewarded, it seems like they come pretty easy.
no, and I get that, but in my head, I'm like, "I wonder how many levels I would need to get to this effective thing
Oh, kind
if
of a
I
lot,
just
but that's
focused
kind of the
in."
plan.
Right, so it makes the game a slower leveling kind of thing,
Yeah,
which well, maybe not even slower leveling, but, like, slower to get to those OP levels,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
fine, and that's fine as long as that's the mechanic, then cool.
Yeah,
My
that's the
issue is,
mechanic.
like, is it balanced? Like, the thing that my head says as we're looking through the character thing is, would it be balanced for an overall character who has spread out points and has taken a lot of core stuff, a lot of base points, to run into someone who has just funneled points into an action if the action is something that they can't really defend from? They'll just get routed.
Exactly.
So it's like
But no,
how
exactly what you're thinking is how the player's
that's
supposed to approach the game, right? Because
right.
the knack system is very appealing to be like, I'm gonna take all my points and I'm gonna be like, boom, now I can just blow up a whole room and with a fireball or whatever, right? But can you sustain the damage from that fireball?
Or can you, building your attacking character, sustain attacking someone who has just taken all of the defensive abilities and you can't touch them? Like, you
Right.
can't do damage, none of your knacks work, all that stuff goes out the window, you can't overroll, you can't, like, I could just see somebody just being like, "No, I'm just gonna take all of these core base stuff, and then none of that crap that you're focusing in is going to affect me at all."
Yeah. Look, the game, the kind of the way we design the game is like the okay. So the I dislike the easy number path of D&D, if that makes sense.
No, and I get that. I was talking to
I
somebody
think
the
it
other day
ruins game
5.
story. Oh, I see him now. I think it ruins game stories. I think I think it takes away a lot of what the DM is trying to accomplish in a game because the numbers are so easily controllable by the player. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I dislike that mechanic of D in a lot of tabletops. I feel like with a system where you have to be more cautious of where you're placing your points, how you're building your character, it will
Champions was like that.
yeah, it'll allow for more storytelling and adventuring in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll feel more like playing Cyberpunk 2077. And you know what I'm saying? Like you'll get this point progression that is obviously there. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't play it.
I know you didn't play it. Or any Western RPG really, right?
Right.
You'll get this point progression that's obviously built into the mechanic, but there's no way for you to just be OP until you've actually spent time playing the game, right? It should
Right.
encourage people to want to continue to show up to their game sessions and play, and you
And
know
that's part of the balance of building the game mechanics so that it does progress fast enough while not being too crazy fast to get people to that level, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it does seem like the way we wrote the reward system that you should get the kind of points where if you're like focusing on a build, then you can be like, all right, I got a point for this, I got a point for that, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. It's definitely not designed for you to get all the knacks at one time, right? But if you plan out your
I don't know that it's designed for you to get all the knacks at all.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But if you plan
Like,
out your build, like you like, I want to be like Mr. Fantastic, right? You can plan out a Mr. Fantastic build that's achievable with the way the points are earned.
right, right. I'm curious about the balancing effect, like in character creation and interaction. How balanced the build system will be is really important to how well the game is received by the
Mm-hmm.
community.
Oh, I
So
agree.
that's the thing that my brain is like tangling with right now, even just reading through the knacks in the system is like, okay, so if this works like this, then this works like this, then we build it like this, and this will do this. But then
Mm-hmm.
if somebody else builds this other thing, then that whole thing goes out the window, and it's really interesting. And I think it will be well received to see the interactions among players when they're building their virtuals and they're adventuring through the game and they're doing different things. What specifically builds really turn out to be like meta shakers.
Right.
And then we got to look at like, oh, we need to balance this, we need to balance that, because when these guys did this build and we saw this game go off, this thing was OP as shit.
So I
It'd be
think
like my indestructible cleric or Chris's Gatlin fireball mage or the Death Knight battery or there's so many cool builds that we've come up with. The Forever Archer, there's so many things that we've recognized are completely broken, but it took us hours and hours of tracking down points and how to build it and what levels and whatever, just to find those OP builds. And as we go through the game and we play through it, we're going to do that because metagamers are metagamers.
yeah. No, I think we're gonna have two types of like core player from this, right? We're gonna have the straight up, I wanna live my fantasy world, players, right? And they're gonna be in stories where they're building around very specific concepts. And the balance largely is gonna find itself in the same way that it would find itself in that fantasy. Right.
Well, right. It's like when James built when James and Chris built the Death Knight battery combo, Jared built the Pellet of Other Death because it was the only thing that would do enough damage to stop the combo of players if they ever turned on them.
Mm-hmm.
When I built my Archer, I recognized that my personal AC was shit, and I wasn't ever going to be able to build that, so I just needed to hit you from far enough away you never saw me.
Right.
And I did.
So, and then we're gonna run into like the people who are like, yo, let's make up a whole world for this game, right? Let's do whatever we want in it. And they're gonna be the people who really, break the game.
Right.
And break the
because
balance.
they're gonna design a thing that's just so out of whack. It's gonna be so OP and so like just synergy. The synergy from one thing to another is gonna flow so well that you just can't touch them. It'll be more like my indestructible cleric. The synergy on contingency spells kept me alive, and you couldn't do anything. Even if I dropped to 0, you'd walk away, and here I am again next round.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit,
So-
how do you deal with that? You
Right.
don't.
You don't, right? And it's gonna okay, so one of the things with the balance of this game is you're right, it's the time. Like the game is designed to take time. So we're not gonna, I don't think early on in the game systems we're gonna find like an egregious amount of unbalance. Right? Like, but I think when we get to like the middle of like the first set of games, we're gonna find like incredible unbalance. Like, I walked by you and now you're dead.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, bro, hold on. I'm just reading through these things and already in my head, I'm like, man, I know how to block all that stuff if I just use this build, or I know how to super build into this thing, or I know how to.
Well, okay,
like,
so
just
everyone should be pulling the same thing, right? So like when you read how many things take sustained change, almost instantly you're like, all right, I need sustained changes in that.
Even if I don't have anything that sustained change works with,
right,
I better get it in case someone else tries to do it against me as a defense.
Exactly. Like,
so then I'm thinking to myself, the best build I could build is more like a Green Lantern character, where force of will is the thing that I use as my weapon, and you can't alter my state.
Yeah. No, honestly, having a non-alterable state is the best defense mechanism in this game.
Yeah.
Both for whatever attacks you want to stack onto yourself, and also defending.
And for everything, right.
Right. Like
if I go like Colossus mode, right? If I go for the Iron Organs and all of that, and I go for the mad defense stuff, and I go sustain change maxed out, and I go, all of the
maxed out.
Yeah, the weightlifting maxed out, the whatever, right. If I've maxed out my weightlifting, I've maxed out my sustain change, I've maxed out my I don't need to breathe, I don't need to eat, I don't need to drink, I don't need anything. Dude, come at me if you want to. You be doing all the energy stuff for nothing.
Right.
But then the first dude that knows how to knock me out, like with a psionic ability,
right, because we haven't even gotten to the mind things yet, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. I'm like, dang,
we're just in the body. We still got the mind and the
that
soul
kind
stuff.
Of builds, and that kind of builds like Superman. He's got all these super physical abilities, but you touch him with magic and he zonks.
He's done. He's done. Right?
Then you're looking at Doctor Strange and the Hulk, like, hey guys, we got a problem. Soups is out.
Right. Like you can put all the stuff you want into defending your body, but if you haven't defended your mind, and I got like massive knacks and mind abilities, I'm just gonna fry your brain. And then so what, you put all of those into your body, knacks protecting yourself.
Exactly.
What does it matter if you can't protect against a psionic attack? You just fall over like Colossus.
Or if you just light me on fire. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what do you?
Right. I just melt you now. Yay.
Now it's just, and as we go through it, those are the things that are going off in my head. Like, how would this build be effective, and what could you build against it to do this thing? So I guess I'm looking at it from a DM's perspective. Like, if I'm going to build monsters that have to fight the party, I have to figure out how to build those monsters to affect the party. I have to figure out how the party is going to build to block the things that I do, and then figure out the negative balance on that. So it's literally a rock, paper, scissors contest all over the place.
Yeah.
And now it reminds me of Pokemon.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad game mechanic. I'm kind of impressed with myself.
No,
honestly. I haven't read it in like 10 years.
It absolutely has a good triangle of effect, and it really does look rock, paper, scissors-ish. But those are the kinds of mechanics that really make a game balanced. If there's always a weakness and there's always a strength, no matter what part you're looking at, then it's hard to build the thing that's indestructible.
Right, because everyone has every build in this game has the potential to be like massively OP and also have a massive fucking hole where you can be like,
and it's just which hole, right?
So or the guy that built, you can be balanced and boring, right? Because that's the other thing, the game. that's where the game kind of leads you, is to like balanced, in your mind, body, and soul. And also, not very like bing, bang, boom, bangy, but you can survive like every situation,
right. Cover just enough stuff that you can't be affected. Right. And that was the thing I was thinking about as we go through, and I'm like, man, this is going to cost a lot of points to build a proper virtual.
Yes.
Like, to get to a point where I'm like, okay, no, now I'm confident in the build. I'm going to need a lot of levels.
Yeah, and that's what it was geared to have that long play time, right? So one of the things that is kind of missing in D is the reason to play long. Either the game that is being hosted.
That's on the DM though. That's not on the game.
I agree, but I also think it is partly on the abuse of the system by the players, right?
So that's on the DM. That goes back to the DM also.
I agree with that. Part of it's the delivery of the game. Sometimes the game is boring or what have you, which is all the way on the DM, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it is how familiar players have become with Dungeons and Dragons in the system, where a lot of it is just outside the DM's control, You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I absolutely. When we were playing with high level players that had lots of experience, the games are much harder to run
because it's like playing
because
against other DMs.
everyone is yeah, everyone knows how the game mechanics work and how the different feats work together and the synergy builds and they're all playing completely overpowered tunes. So then you have to build completely overpowered monsters just to combat them. And then you like especially in the case with the Death Knight battery, the Demi-Lich Death Knight battery combo, like you literally have to design a party killer just to fight that one monster in the group. And if anything in the party goes to tangle with that one thing, they're all dead
Right.
because it's not built for this other thing that's completely OP on armor. And everything else gets just waylaid by this one tune.
Yeah, exactly that. That doesn't inspire the player to want to continue the experience, right? Either the game is
That
too
depends on the player
easy.
and the DM.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is true, but generally, you know, if the DM doesn't have like a lot of content and the game comes to an end quickly, right? Because they're
Because I
like,
know in your game that you ran for us, or the game that Jake ran for us,
Jake, yeah,
um, we were all kind of OP by the time we got to really flesh out the Eat Me Co. and went to doing like
mm-hmm.
world exploring stuff. By the time we got to that, we were all kind of OP in our own right, but the
And
story
then
was good and we covered each other.
right, but then the game also started to get boring because we were too OP, and you know the story was really kind of reaching its crescendo, and then we were like, well, this is now kind of boring, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like we reached that OP level so fast, in my opinion, in storytelling. You know what I'm saying? It was almost ridiculous, and then honestly, by the time we got to where we were, we're already gods of the world. We had played like 5 sessions.
I think it was a couple more than that, but yeah, it was pretty fast.
Yeah,
The stuff a lot of the stuff was done in story mode, not in like gameplay. We did tell a lot of story though.
yeah, yeah. And we also all played like pro D players because we fucking are.
Yeah, I can't not play like that.
Well, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm abusive in a story. Like, you give me story, then I will open up your plot holes and do what I want with them.
Yeah, when Jake presented us with the Tower of Mages shooting us a quarter mile away, I was like, oh, you opened that up just for me. I see how this is.
Right, right. So you
And
know,
he didn't
like,
even, and none of us realized exactly how effective it would be to do that. But oh well.
yeah, you can't play D with other DMs. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't play D with anybody who's been playing like for 20 years. Like, the game is already ruined before it began. Besides for
So
trying
you have
to,
to subvert that's why you have to, playing in experienced parties like that, you have to subvert the expectation.
yeah,
You must figure out the character hook, the build hook, the rule set, whatever it is that keeps things balanced and flowing well.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
part of the key of the game. And I think that this building setup, this particular mechanics build that you guys have going on in this virtual versus is a really interesting balanced build type. And I'm super stoked to get into it even more.
Yeah,
So
me too. But it's time for us to go, ladies and gentlemen. We've been with you
it
guys
is.
for a little longer than 2 hours to make up for our lateness. But it's time for us to get out of here.
Hey,
But
it is.
look,
Yes. Don't
this been
forget.
my host, Dragon. Panels.
Don't forget panels down below. You can get all of our merch. You can support all of the stuff that Soul Monkey Publications is doing. If you think that you want to watch more of the stuff that Mr. Solutions is involved in, by all means, go over to his Twitch, go over to his YouTube, follow his channels. He's got tons of shows out. He's got tons of things he's doing. Lots of stuff going on in Soul Monkey Publications as the company gets off the ground, and tons of things coming down the pipeline from other revenue sources as well.
Matter of fact, check out Dragon. I think he's still celebrating his anniversary, streaming anniversary.
It is.
He's been putting
for
out
another week.
He's been putting out a ton of content every week, so check out his channels and see what he's doing, or his channel, see what he's doing. Support our merch stores, buy our jams, man, because we love y'all and you love us. That's right, I said it.
And if you don't yet, stick around. You will.
You will love us, girl. Anyway, we're out of here. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later.
Thanks for joining us